Don't know.
These red lights kind of make this room look like a strip club.
It is a strip club.
You're locked in to the Jerusalem Hub audio experience.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Jerusalem Hub audio experience.
Episode 6?
Episode 6.
We're up to episode. Whew,
I'm Shalom Makowitz, COO and co-founder of Jerusalem Hub.
It's right here, Jaron Pact, CFO and co-founder.
Aaron Menowitz, co-founder, CMO, CTO, Extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
That really...
You always gotta add something on, huh?
Extravaganza.
We're all extravagant.
I'm a magician. I could pull a rabbit out of this hat. The object of this podcast is for us to show you how our business is developing, as well as help you realize that it doesn't take much to start a company. All it takes is some dedication, some motivation, and some passion.
And balls.
Resourcefulness.
And balls.
My gosh, you see how far we've gotten so far in the past?
Yeah, 100%. Before we start, I'm just going to take a little selfish shout out there.
Yeah,
and say congrats to my football team, the Judean Rebels.
Woo!
Your brother is the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Yehuda.
Shout out to J-Man.
And we won we had a comeback win, and we won, and we got the second seed. So we got a bye week in the playoffs, so it means I get to rest for like a month. It's awesome because it hurt. Football hurts, but it's fun. And yeah, that's the end of that. I just wanted to put that shout out there before we started. And
Go team.
Yeah.
Go Rebels.
So today, last week we had a meeting with an accountant from V.A.T. Do you want to discuss what that was about?
So for those of you
CFO.
So for those of you that don't know what V.A.T is similar to a small business administration. They help small businesses and startups get themselves off the ground. They're subsidized by the government. And for new immigrants like ourselves, they have certain benefits and programs that they give to us to help us out. So one of the things they did was they provided us with an accounting service to talk about how we're going to incorporate and what what taxes look like, how that's going to affect us further down the line, and what that's going to look like as we continue to grow. So this is just something important to know for anybody who's starting a business in Israel especially, but anywhere in general, just even though the numbers aren't exactly the same, but it's pretty universal in the sense of everywhere you go, you're going to have to incorporate at some point to create a proper business, and there's going to be taxes involved. So just to get an idea of what taxing structure looks like on a basic level, that's really valuable for anyone and everyone.
One thing that I think was cool about this meeting, besides for being hella scary, was that I actually learned a lot. Like we learned that if you're categorized as a startup in this country, you get 6% tax rate.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
6%.
And if you're a service provider, you get a 50% tax rate. What's the difference between startup and service provider?
So it's not 50%. It's actually closer to 25.
It's 25%. Are you sure?
Yeah.
The note's fine.
All right, but either way though,
the point I could be wrong. It's cool.
The point is though, it's a significant.
It's still a lot.
It's a significant difference, and I think one of the reasons that Israel does that is because they want to support their startup community. They want to support their startup scene and encourage it, right? So therefore, if you are creating a new business in Israel and you can find a way to put that under the category of startup, and we can't really define that because we don't know exactly what that is, but on a very general sense. That's something innovative, something tech-related.
Right. We kind of know what it is. A startup is an innovation of some sort. It's a product that goes on the market.
And there's also steps to being approved as a startup in order to get those benefits. And also, he said there's something on top of that startups could get a 400,000 shekel grant.
Right. That's true.
So,
which gave me a light bulb moment.
Okay.
Light bulb.
A light bulb moment was actually like a week ago, but I'll mention it now.
Yeah, please do.
Part of Jerusalem Hub would be guiding the startups who have not yet done that get through that process of becoming a startup in Israel, especially Jerusalem.
Right. Right. By the way,
meaning he gave us a lot of data on how to do that. So why can't we do that ourselves?
We could.
For other people.
And specifically, if I remember correctly, you said in Jerusalem there's even further tax exemptions and benefits because they're trying to incubate that startup scene in Jerusalem. They want that to grow.
Boom, there we are.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
So, all right, awesome, guys.
We just started a new...
You are witnessing the evolution of Jerusalem Hub as we speak.
It's more like a branch.
Sure.
Go on.
No, I was gonna say, and for those who still don't understand what the difference between a startup and a service provider.
Yeah.
A startup is, as we said, is like innovation, something that's innovative that can go in, that has a market value. Whereas a service provider is like a marketing firm. Like if you're going to market for a company, that's a service that you are providing for another business. So there are huge differences, and yeah, there's huge tax breaks depending on what you do as a business and what your whole idea is.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's something that needs to be understood. And as scary as these meetings are, you have to go to.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
crucial. So going further on that, so that specifically was the income tax side of things, meaning income tax is on a yearly basis based off of the income, the revenue that the company produces.
Also,
Yes.
we can make it less scary because you know how you were scared.
I was very scared.
Why can't we make people? Everyone's gonna be scared doing that, so we can also make it less scary for everyone else. I don't know. Not be scary about it.
That's really
Very, very.
Like you have to figure out what was scary about it. And
yeah.
It
Have
should-
a lollipop.
I guess what he's saying.
Thank you.
I guess what he's saying. What's kind of scary about that is, you know, you hear, oh wow, that's amazing. So basically, what you're saying is, at the end of the year, whatever money I make, the government's just popping 25% off the top.
Yep.
You know, that's kind of scary from that perspective.
Mhm.
And then there's a huge difference. That's why it's such a huge difference if you're a startup. 6%. That sounds like
Yeah.
very reasonable. And by the way, the 25%, like I was saying, that's only income tax. There's other taxes. So I was going to get into that. The other taxes that are involved. So there's Bituach Leumi, which is basically like a social security. I don't know the exact percentages on that. That varies if I'm correct. And then the final one is called V.A.T tax, V.A.T, and that's per transaction. VAT tax is, I think, 16.5 or 17%.
17.
It's 17?
Yep.
Okay. It fluctuates a little bit by percent every once in a while, but we're going to say 17. And so that's per transaction, and we learned some interesting things about that too. The VAT tax only applies to business transactions that are done within Israel. So basically, if you live in Israel, you have a business in Israel, but your transactions are happening outside of the state or the country, and then you don't pay that VAT tax. That's not part of it. But what the cool part is, any of the expenses that are involved in that transaction are involved in your business, you can still submit that to the VAT tax association, whatever that is, and you get that back. So basically, what's interesting about tax is a necessary evil. That's just the way life is when it comes to business. But that's why good accountants are so important, especially to these multi-billion-dollar companies. They can literally save companies millions of dollars just by working their tax.
That's like almost 20%.
Their tax strategies.
19,
Oh yeah.
20%.
Oh yeah,
a lot of money.
huge variances based on like just little switches in that and changing little things here just to kind of find the loopholes. So that's why accounting and tax is so important in general.
So what's our innovation?
Well, I mean, ideally for us, what would be cool is, you know, if we get that startup status, that brings us down to that 6%, and if we can find a way to get those transactions to happen
Right.
with outside of country businesses, then we eliminate that also. I mean, listen, we're no experts. We're just kind of trying to think it out, talk it out, and see how
Hey,
we
speak
can.
for yourself, man.
Oh, sorry, Shalom's an expert, but I'm not. But yeah,
I'm an expert at making spaghetti.
Spaghetti's
That's
important.
also a very good skill to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually learned from Honey Boo Boo that the only time you know that the spaghetti's ready is if you throw it against the wall and it sticks. So that's where I get my cooking tips.
Honey Boo Boo. What won't you learn? What won't you learn next? So,
Gotta start somewhere.
We also learned about a little bit about incorporating it, whether or not to incorporate in Israel or incorporate in the U.S.
Right.
In Israel, they do not have LLC. They have what is called LTD.
Right. Right.
I think that stands for the same thing.
I think
like what's the difference?
I think it's the same thing, just like on a country-to-country basis. What's
LTD
interesting?
stands for limited, no?
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
Which is the same thing as like limited liability.
Right. Yeah. It's something definitely associated with that. But what's really interesting about these incorporations is, specifically in the U.S., let's say LLCs, right? Based on where you do the LLC, that can change the way the taxes and different benefit. Okay, wait. So
There you go.
I also looked
he
it
has
up.
it. All right. Well, you read it. Fine. Difference
Limited.
between LTD partnership and an LLC. A limited partnership and limited liability company are both types of business entities formed under state law. They are similar in structure due to the fact that limited liability companies, or LLCs, are designed to combine the benefits of both partnerships and corporations.
It doesn't really explain the difference. Okay.
They're basically the same.
point
exact-
It's the same thing, just a different name.
It's just different names,
The
different
point is
countries.
they're both forms of incorporation, and that's important. You can't be considered a proper business wherever you are if you're not incorporated in that legal zone, whether that be in Israel, the U.S., or anywhere else. So something definitely to do your homework on, do research and learn more about.
Yeah. Cool beans. I think that's all we have to report on scary meetings. There will be more scary meetings to come.
Always are.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to our event. Drinking and networking.
Drinking
And
and...
Moix Place.
Moist
Jerusalem.
Drink it, yes.
Guys, spots are filling up fast. I mean, over the past 2 days, we really started pumping it out on the internet, and we went from, 15 to 35 within 2 days. 35.
Yeah, we're moving fast.
Yeah, we're moving really fast.
You're
So
gonna lose your spot if you don't sign up.
get on that quick. It's going to be awesome. Everyone loved our first event, and people
and
are already...
you will love our second.
Yes, people are already asking about it. They're inquiring about it. They want to get involved. So do it too.
For
And
sure.
like our page at the same time.
Who
Yes.
doesn't like drinking beer on a, is it a Thursday night?
It's a
Thursday
Tuesday night.
It's a Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's even
just
better.
Drinking
Better.
beer.
It's during the week.
No Torah Tuesdays.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
It was.
So yeah, it's Tuesday the
Tuesday the 20th.
20th.
Tuesday the 20th.
2 for 2s.
Look out for it. Sign up through Eventbrite, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, the link is in the event itself and posted all over the place. So if you can't find it, then yeah.
Yeah.
The next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to discuss. We had a meeting with a VC. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a venture capitalist firm, which is money. I don't know why I put it in quotations. It's actually money.
Monet.
Before we go into how our meeting went, we kind of wanted to share our experience with you in the sense of telling you what our do's and don'ts in terms of having a meeting with VCs, because these guys have the money. They're not going to spend their money unless they think that it's like a dynamite idea. And you have to kind of be tactful in the sense of what you're going to tell them and how you're going to tell them and how to qualify yourselves as like legitimate. So if I'm gonna let Aaron start off with that, and we'll work our way through to our own meeting. But like, where would you begin in terms of giving people advice on talking to a VC over the phone or in a personal meeting?
From my experience, even before talking to the VC we spoke to, what was it, Monday night? Last night.
Last night it was, yeah.
Right. So they like to get down to business and quickly. Like, there's not really that much formality from what we had last night. And
True.
they wanted to know facts, and they wanted to know, like, really, like, what's going on, the data, straight away. So it's really good to be prepared in the way, like, what you're going to talk to them about, and really, like, know what you're talking about, because they are very sharp, because they do a lot of due diligence into companies they've previously invested in. So they definitely know what they're talking about. Even they probably know more than startups that they're investing about that startup sector. So if you're going to go and pitch them something, you better have that prepared concisely.
So let's make a like JHUB rules for having a meeting with a VC. Rule number 1.
Yeah.
Your VC, whoever you're talking to, they're going to do your homework, so you do your homework too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
They're doing the homework really well.
That's rule number 1. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Know what you're going to say ahead of time.
Yeah.
Don't just kind of go with the flow. These are professionals. They
Yeah.
want you to get to the point, and they want you to just know, like we said, know what you're talking about and be professional.
Rule number 2.
Yeah,
Know what you're going to say.
know what
Yeah.
you're going to say.
Don't wing it.
And don't waste their time.
Ever wing it.
Yeah.
If you're going to wing it, you're only winging it on something that you actually know 100%.
Keep in mind, this is the money. This
Yeah.
is the other half. You can have all the ideas. Hey man, I have a really good
Right.
idea for edible diapers, but you can't get those people that money if you don't make the relationships with the people with the
That
money.
leads me to another thing, your impression on them.
Right, rule number 3.
You need to put a good impression, make a good impression of yourself, like any real relationship in general. Like, they can't think that you're an a-hole and you can't look like an idiot. So
Right.
I would say that rule number 4 would be don't reveal too much about what you have for them. Like
Yeah.
don't tell them, oh, we have this and the name is this, because then
Yeah.
they'll just go over your head and then
I mean,
you're out of the
They'll
picture.
slaughter you.
That's any
Yeah.
business relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
in my dad's.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
No, so as an example, in my dad's business, which was recruiting, he would go to a company that was looking for, let's just say, for example, financial manager, and he had a candidate in mind, and he would tell them, hey, I have this great guy or gal, they're a financial manager, I think they'd be really dynamite and solid for what you guys are looking for, but he wouldn't tell them their name, he wouldn't tell them exactly where they work, because otherwise, like Shalom and Aaron were saying, they could just go right over their head and go to them. So information that's relevant and important, always, but never say more than needs to be said.
Yeah. Clear and concise.
I'm just writing this down because this is gold.
Especially for like their first meetup with them. When you start building relationships with them and start passing things over, then maybe you could start to get a little bit more
Right. And I think
passive, but there is a professionalism that
definitely.
you
Well, I
need
mean,
to keep up.
but at that point, though, by the time you get down there, you already have like in your mind an idea of what it's going to look like
Yeah.
every single time. You know. So like for us, I mean, I think something that we did really right was we did have our template and we
Yeah.
did stick to it for the most part. I mean, once in a while you have to, go off because they ask you a question that's not
Right.
relevant to it. But overall, we did a very good job with that. They seemed excited. We were very excited.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to starting that partnership with them.
Also, another point: the fact that there's three of us and we're all on a call, that we didn't talk over each other.
Right.
We all three of us knew when. I don't know how we figured that out, but we kind of
Well, I think-
fell into place about how and when we should be talking.
Honestly, like just if you're a long time listener, I think as you gradually see
Yeah.
things are just assuming their
Yeah.
place. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
at some point,
as
Like you led the
experience
way,
things,
and then
yeah.
when they asked like the technical stuff,
Right.
then I'm like, okay, I got to take this.
Right.
And
Right, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
Shalom and I were here, and you were obviously at your house,
yeah,
and we were sitting there listening. We're like, okay, this is Aaron's department. He's gonna take lead on that. And then like when it was something more on the business related, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'd jump in, hop in,
Right.
talk for a minute or two. They had a couple of questions about each of us, so all of us obviously hopped
Yeah.
in and talked a little bit about ourselves.
probably where we all winged it a bit at that point.
Yeah. Which,
Oh yeah, totally. It's like, I didn't even know what I was
Okay,
saying.
well, but here's the thing though. It still didn't ruin it. They were still very happy about it.
Yeah.
And so next time we know, that's something we got to get locked down.
Also very important
So-
at the end of the conversation, you lock in a way how you're going to continue to communicate, and that's something that I left
Right.
it off with
And
on the
I-
conversation.
And I sent an email
Yeah.
just saying,
Follow
and
up.
and I linked up with them on LinkedIn.
Amazing.
So yeah, just really building that relationship so they remember us, they know who we are, we know who they are, and we can easily communicate. Not kind of like, hey, we'll figure it out as we
Yeah.
go. That's not good in business. In
No.
business, everything
Right.
needs to be measurable, concise, and real.
And I think
Also-
for this one,
yeah, go
because
ahead.
you set this up, you should be the point in communication. Like if
Right.
a startup comes to Shalom or to me and
Right.
we discuss it, you pass it over the pitch deck.
Right.
Yeah.
Cause
Sure, yeah,
it's
no.
good to have one solid point of
Right. Right. Not just kind of flowing in between whoever feels like
Yeah.
taking. Yeah, definitely.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Totally forgot. Hopefully
Sorry,
it'll come
I
to
cut
me.
you off on that one.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
No worries. It probably wasn't that important. No, I'm kidding. No, I think what I was going to say was that you should also keep in mind that they're going to be, just like, because they're the ones with the money, they're going to want to know who the hell you are and what you've done and what you're like. If you, for
Right.
example, if
Trust
you
you.
have the high score on Pac-Man at an arcade in Cleveland, Ohio, they don't want to know that. They want to know what your background is, what it is that you know about the business world, and you have to, like, we're beginning to lock it down in a sense, but we
Yeah.
have to try to figure out, this is what my credentials are.
Yeah,
I mean,
Right.
that's something that's very important. So just to reiterate here, I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rules. 7 rules. JHUB's rules for meeting with a VC.
Should post this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we will
Should be a
post
piece
this.
of content.
No. Do your homework because they will do their homework, and if you're not prepared, goodbye. They're gonna think you're completely unprofessional. 2, know what you're talking about. Know what VCs are. Know the ins and outs of it. Know about their company. That whole shebang-a-dang. Know about all the different kinds of businesses out there. Know where you guys are specifying.
Mm-hmm.
3, never say more than needs to be said.
Right.
What that means is don't reveal too
over-reveal,
much.
right.
Don't
The
over-reveal.
TMI factor.
Right.
Right.
Let them ask you the questions. They're the ones who are on the call with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're the ones who they have the money. You're the ones who are providing them for
Right.
where to put their money. So let them ask you
So,
the questions
yeah.
and you answer them.
Just on that point, even I think we did a great job with that.
Yeah.
Where we introduced ourselves, we very quickly said what we do, and then they led the rest of the call until they asked us questions. We would answer the questions,
Right.
say nothing more, nothing less, because we told them exactly what they wanted to hear, and that's it. And that's all they need to hear.
Okay, so I actually just realized the 6th one is exactly the same as the last one, so it's really just the 4th one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rules. Cool. The next one is take notes. Make sure that you have an idea. You have a log of how the meeting went down. I took notes. Can't say they were so amazing, but I will get better at it. Rule number 5: know your team. Make sure you know who's heading the call or the meeting. There's no ego trip when it comes to this stuff. We have ruled that out completely. We are a team. This is a team effort. We have people who are in place for doing certain things. If you set up the call, you head the call, and then just if you know your team, you know how to work as a team, everything will work out. Oh, and rule number 6, which I think is the most important rule, is follow up after the meeting.
Yeah.
Because if you follow up, they know that you care about them, and then you build a business relationship, which is the most important part about this whole thing.
You know what's interesting about the call is that their leader of their pack, their CEO,
She was completely quiet.
she didn't talk until
Yeah.
she said hello in the beginning and bye at the end.
I wonder if she was even listening.
She probably was.
Or she was on the call, but she was probably typing.
But that's a really good lesson in ego and the company. Let the pros who know what they're talking about in their sector deal with it.
Yeah.
And her as the team leader, she gets involved where she feels it's best for herself to get involved.
Right, which is interesting because this doesn't directly have to do with this, but this is something that I kind of experienced over last Shabbat. I heard this. I was listening to a lecture by Simon Sinek. I don't know if you know who he is. You should look him up. He's a pretty smart dude.
Motivational guy.
He's more than motivation, but he had this one rule which was called always be the last to speak.
Oh,
I saw that. Yeah.
And I was thinking like, what the hell does that mean? Like I kind of get what it means, but like
where did I hear that from?
when I was in it's probably heard it from me because whatever, I'm a genius. But I was like, where do I hear that from? I understand what it means, but like, where does it apply? And I was at a meal, and I saw these two people talking, and they're smart people, and I was just like thinking like, oh, this is what it means. Like I was just sitting and I was listening, and then every time I said a little word, it was just like it was so much more impactful. I didn't have to say much, and the interesting thing is that most people in general seem to think that the more you say, the more of an impact you make. But the reality is that if you're hanging back, listening, seeing what the whole spectrum of the table is, you see the scope of what's going on, the less you say has the bigger impact. Because whatever you're going to say afterwards, you already have all the information.
Right.
It's going to have much more of an impact. So keep in mind that that's another important factor in terms of like let them ask you the questions. Don't reveal too much because it's going to show unprofessionalism and it's going to show juvenile behavior.
Right.
Just so people know, I honestly think that one really cool stat about our VC meeting was the fact that we were meeting with a VC company from China. That's like insane because it's just like whoa, like China. I mean, I don't know.
That must have been like so.
I'm rendered speechless. Which I know.
Very fancy word.
Yeah, thank you. But I thought that was insane.
Because it was so real. They're telling us about how they're managing billions of dollars. And we're saying they're like, we're ready to get in on that. We're ready to help all these startups across Israel and hopefully all over the world to be involved in that. For us, for them, and for this company. So many people benefit from these relationships. It's not just like one-on-one. And that, for me, that's the most exciting part. How widespread. It's all over the world. It's international. We're helping 10, 15, 20 businesses that we're working with so far. And this business, which is also new, it happens to be this VC that we're working with right now, is new. They started up, what was it, like 2-3 months ago or something?
Yeah.
And so everyone's new, everyone's getting off the ground, and everyone's helping each other. And that was just really amazing.
Yeah, honestly, another thing I'm very excited about is that the beginning stages of us starting, we were having meetings with people who need money. And then we're like thinking, okay, well, we have all these people, like how are we gonna get the money? And now things are just like it's like a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like the bottom layer, all these people, and then you're putting on. We go to the Globes thing, right? We're working on our social media and our marketing. We're building our name branding, and we're start the podcast, and that's like all the lettuce and the tomatoes and the hamburger.
Right.
And then you put, then you have meetings with the VCs, and then you close it up. You got like a nice, massive, fat sandwich. Now I'm really hungry. But like I think it's just really cool how like the evolution of how we've begun is just it's stacking up, and it's beginning.
Yeah, things are happening and happening quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, is there anything like in specific that like, maybe you want to say that like that has really been like eye-opening or impactful in terms of us having the meeting with the VC or anything in general, like how far things have come?
I think the fact that the more startups we sit with, the more we realize how much what we're doing and what we've created is needed, especially in Jerusalem. Like there was a startup that spoke to me yesterday and saying like, I haven't sat with anybody so enthusiastic and so like into making our project as successful as you guys are doing.
Right.
Like it's missing.
And right. And I mentioned that last time also on the last podcast where I was saying how so many people, whether they know what we do or not, they love our vision, they love our passion, they love our excitement, they love our motivation, and it's contagious. It's contagious.
People just smile when they sit with us. I sat with one person in the morning, and she was smiling the whole entire time, like because I was giving off that Jerusalem energy.
Right.
And then I sat again with Yotam because I wanted to talk to him about his pitch deck.
Yotam, right?
He walked in barefoot.
But people do that in Jerusalem.
Does he live in North Florida? Of course he lives in North Florida.
From the old city. But and it was also freezing cold. Whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone is saying that what we've created, what we've basically invented, like even though you could call us, what's it called,
incubator?
No.
Accelerator.
What's the other word? A consulting firm.
Okay, sure.
Whatever that we're not that. We are so much more than.
We're so much more than we're like. I don't want to say family. That's weird.
We're angel partners.
Yeah. Angel partners, but we want to build the Jerusalem technology family.
Like I said last time, and like I said to someone that we're actually having a meeting with, I believe next week. When you succeed, we succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
Like everyone asked, like another question that they asked me, like, oh, you're gonna help us get investors or something else. What if I find someone on the side? I'm like, that's amazing. I'm happy for you if you find someone because we want you to be successful. I don't care if it's from us. Obviously, if it's from us, we gain a little bit out of it. But if you do it and you get something out of it, then that makes us even happier.
But also, that's not where the relationship ends.
Yeah, there's so much more to it. Exactly.
It's not just it's not a means to an end. It's a journey. And we want to be part of all these journeys to create the Jerusalem hub, the bigger picture, making Jerusalem this capital of business as well as just Israel. And you guys get the picture.
So even further, the girl I met with in the morning, she asked, okay, so what after all this, after development and we get investments, and we still want to be your partners, can we do that? I was like, yeah.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. So it was blowing me away that this energy that we're trying to give off is just everyone's drinking it and drink from our trough.
Either way, that's all we have on VCs. We will keep you posted.
Yeah. More to come.
Yeah. Speaking of more to come, we do have some surprises. I know some of them are secret surprises.
Mm-hmm.
As our
still secret.
Okay. So sorry, but as Aaron
just to keep you guys, on the hook.
Yeah.
These aren't fake. This isn't clickbait. These are real, actually.
There really is, and I was gonna say,
but we'll use it as clickbait.
That you guys keep saying, or no, Aaron, you actually said this. You're like, guys, it's freak out time, and legit, it is freak out time. Like not freak out like scary. There's a zombie coming after me. Freak out time. Like, freak out time. Like the more work and the more time and effort that's being put into this, the more things are coming into fruition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things are coming together,
and it's just like it blows my mind. Blows my mind.
On that note, it's funny, I was talking to my brother last week, and on a week-to-week basis, you see what you've dealt with this week. This past week we dealt with Mati, we dealt with the VC, we have our event, and so the thing is that in the week and in that time, that's what you see. But when I was talking to him, kind of explaining the bigger picture of things, seeing from where we started to where we are now, and seeing it's like a tree, there's branches, there's things connecting. And it was like absolutely insane how big we're getting in such a short period of time.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
I was thinking so why are we growing fast? What is it that we're doing that's making us go fast?
That's important for listeners, yeah. So one thing off the top of my head. Action. Movement.
For sure.
Always just going. Not talking about it. Obviously you got to talk about it to create the plan, but don't talk about it. Do it. We do that every single
Yeah.
time, but that's the
And
truth.
also, like, in addition, like, another thing that makes us grow is the fact that we are sitting with a bunch of people,
Right.
right? But how are we doing that?
Sorry, a little bit of a podcast.
So, but that's my point right there. Like, we are talking about what's helping us grow so fast. So I think our media influence is helping
Yes.
us grow fast. The fact that we're really aggressive, it might have been a little bit lax the past week or so because there's been so much going on, but we need to really get back on that horse.
Yeah.
But really, social media is, and technology nowadays is the
That's been
the accelerator.
That's been our engine.
Yeah,
100%
it's
it has.
the accelerator. People are wondering how come my business isn't doing well. Are you on Facebook? Do you post every day? Are you on Instagram, Twitter? If you're not, try it out for a few months and see where that takes you.
You would be surprised by how quickly your name can get out. We've said
Yeah.
this before, but it's worth mentioning again.
It's really
There are companies that are involved in the same industry as we are that have been around
Mhm.
Israel and around the world for years, since
They don't come
93,
close.
95.
yeah,
People do not know about them, but they know about us.
yeah.
No jokes.
boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's cool? I think this is cool. Yesterday, I've been doing a thing where like I try to continue my Instagram story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And yesterday I got 2 pictures on Instagram on my Instagram story. They got over 100 views.
That's amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
You just
So-
keep going.
yeah. Hashtag beast mode.
Those hashtags.
Wow.
But yeah, I thought that was insane. Like I got that reach, and I was like, holy moly! Like
Yeah,
this
but-
is like it's kind of annoying to do it. I'll be honest with
Mhm.
you. I'm doing one right now, and it's very annoying. It's kind of annoying to do it, but it.
You see the results.
Yeah, you see the results. It's insane.
Just keep pounding it.
But yeah, I mean, like, just keep moving. Like, you gotta keep moving forward. That's one of my favorite hashtags, by the way.
Keep moving.
forward.
Keep moving
That's a good
forward.
one.
Also, hashtag kill comfort.
Kill comfort.
That's ours. We built that. Use it.
Really? Is that being used?
I wonder if it's being used,
Well,
but
I mean, we're using
we're
it.
using it.
I'm gonna use it right now in this hashtag. We're gonna just do a hashtag thing right now. Just everyone, just hold your horses.
Everyone, hashtag break in the podcast for 5 seconds.
I'm just doing some research on that.
All right.
20 public posts.
Yeah, that
Let's see.
sounds like we did it.
Hey, look, it's all you except for.
Oh, well, how
These-
about that?
These weird people.
how about that?
Unless I spelled kill comfort wrong.
No, that's how you spell it. Actually, funny enough, none of our.
Wait, is it kill comfort or kill?
Did you do kill comfort on the stories or on your posts?
The stories.
Oh, that's why. Okay, understood.
Either way, okay.
We
so
can still
moving
dumb it.
on.
There's only 20 posts on it.
Yeah.
So you should be adding that hashtag to every post.
So moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on to the next line of business. What's going on in the news?
The news.
What is it? What's the guy from Family Guy?
Oh, Ollie Williams.
Hollywood. Spice Weather!
What's that? That Asian chicken.
Oh, it's Trisha
Takanawa.
Trisha Tucken.
Tom,
Now
I'm
in the
standing
news.
here
I'm standing
with-
here and I'm about to get into bed. Okay. Yeah, crazy stuff has been happening. If you've been watching what Elon Musk has been up to and his SpaceX. Did anybody watch the launch?
I saw the landing.
The landing, like
Yeah.
the 2 rockets at once?
Yeah,
It's
that
insane.
that was cool.
I did not
So
see
one of his main things with the so he has the Falcon rocket and then he had the Falcon Heavy, which is the largest rocket,
punch.
the world's most powerful operational rocket in existence today. And they sent the Tesla Roadster to orbit with Mars with a mannequin. The
Really?
Tesla Roadster they send up because they're like usually when they do these test flights, they send up a block of concrete. So they're like, Elon, why'd you send up the Tesla? He's like, because a block of concrete is boring. I just wanted to send up a car. And
That's not marketing at its best.
and he said something funnier, like the Roadster wasn't prepared in any way for space. Like there is the regular seats, and it's just floating there. And why he did that is because he likes the absurdity. Those are his words. He likes the absurdity of the fact.
Roadster, the car
Yeah.
that went to space.
So it was insane. It was a 3-stage rocket. 2 stages land. The most crazy part about it is that most of the rocket is reusable, which is new technology.
Wow.
Meaning the boosters that go up, they land back, and they land back automatically.
Wow.
And they got it so in sync that the two side boosters of the Falcon Heavy, they landed basically a little bit offset, but at the same time, they only went offset if you watch the video because they didn't want the radars to
It's crazy.
to coincide. It's insane.
It's crazy how they.
And there's also a third booster that landed, I think, it might have crashed actually, on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean.
Wow.
But it's pretty insane. So yeah.
The world is advancing and evolving.
So there's crazy stuff. The amount of power that these things have: 27 engines, 3 cores, 50 metric tons. It could transport 50 metric tons. How much power does it say?
What's the? They mention like what the plan is with these rockets.
So what they want to do, since the fact that they're privatizing the space industry,
Right.
they have clients, so they could send up satellites for people. Something he's talking about is doing a passenger flight around the moon.
Wow.
Meaning you pay a certain amount of money, they'll
Yeah.
swing you around the moon and back.
I wonder what that certain amount of money is.
Eventually, they want to bring it down. They want to bring down the price, and they want to.
$1 billion.
And I think his ambition is to populate Mars.
Wow.
But wasn't that like the plan? That's been the plan for a while, right?
Right.
Populate Mars. I think the Simpsons were on Mars.
Oh, so there's prices here. As of April
Alright.
2016, the idea is that the Falcon Heavy will be able to lift 2,268 kilograms of geostationary transfer orbit to geostationary for a cost of $3,968 per kilo.
Per kilo. I was gonna say.
I was like, oh, that's not bad.
Not so bad.
That's like gold. How much is a kilo of gold?
I don't know. A kilo.
Look that up. I'm curious actually.
A
What's
kilo is 2.2 pounds.
Kilo
of gold?
of gold.
Cost or price.
Price.
This is actually interesting. I'm
It
curious.
is a 1 bar. It just says 1 bar.
Yeah.
Well, it says
Yeah, it's $43,355.90.
So it's a little bit cheaper than a bar of gold.
Go to that.
Price per kilo.
Price per kilo.
Let us check.
Price per kilo.
I don't understand this.
Yeah. Okay. Either way, a lot
It's here. Okay, I think it's $1,328.
per kilo.
I believe
That
so.
doesn't sound right. It should be
Okay,
more.
well,
Either way,
Whatever. Yeah.
a lot.
But it's pretty crazy.
Oh, that's an ounce. My bad. Kilo.
There
There
you
you go.
go.
Yeah, no, it's 42,000.
42,000.
Yeah.
$42,000 for a kilo of gold. So it's
42,697.60.
So it's cheaper to send a kilo of crap to on Elon Musk's Falcon Heavy than to buy
per kilo.
a kilo of gold.
That's crazy.
So- It's cheaper than gold. How about that?
That's but it's per kilo.
It's cheaper than the weight.
Wait, when it says per kilo, it's talking about passengers as well.
It's talking about if you want to transfer something into geostationary transfer orbit, whatever that means.
Meaning an object.
What does that mean?
It costs about
That could be my grandpa's action.
$4,000 per kilo, which is cheaper than gold.
Okay.
Cheaper than a bar of gold.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in
So
mind when I want to.
good job, Elon, for bringing that down.
That's pretty good. But how much is a ticket? That's the part that I don't get.
No, no one's going into space right now, as far as I know.
But I feel like he knows. He knows how much.
He probably knows, but he's not going to talk about it so much. But that's what's in the news, and I encourage you to go watch those videos.
Yeah, I saw the landing. The landing was really cool.
Landings
It was just like you
insane.
see these things coming from space, and it's just like.
Yeah.
And it was the like.
Cue
the
that
sound,
cut.
Like the sonic boom soundish kind
Yeah.
of thing. Boom.
Yep.
Ba-ba-boom.
Cool.
Okay, well that's our section of what's going on in the world. Now we're gonna move on to books. Unfortunately, I'm not that exciting this week. I'm still in the middle of my personal MBA. It's got a lot of information. I will probably be finishing it next week. You finished a book.
Yeah, starting to finish the book this week called Practice Perfect. Really cool book. I mean, the title kind of says it, but in a word, Practice Perfect is about the art of practice and the value in practice.
Nice.
So just one little piece of the book that caught me was he said, who wrote it? It was
Dude McGee.
Practice Perfect, 42 Rules for Getting Better at Getting Better by Doug Lemma.
Very close.
Yeah, it was not Dude McGee. I was close.
But okay, so basically the concept of the book is how do you practice to actually become more effective? And so one of the things that he talks about is he says that a lot of people practice, but they're practicing wrong.
Oh,
So therefore, you're not actually getting the value out of practice that you should be. So I mean, you could go and shoot at a hoop 100 times, but
If
you're not going to
shooting
get
wrong.
better, right? You're not going to get better at actually getting the basket, and you're just going to get better at shooting it wrong if you're not doing it right. So one of the things he really discusses, like significantly and a lot throughout the book, is systems to be put into place of how to create drills to practice better to get better results.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this book has definitely opened my mind to the value of practice, something that I knew a little bit about from sports, just because I'm involved in a lot of sports. But
I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Just kidding.
but the thing is that the value of like proper practice is worth more than its weight in gold. And so if you want to learn more about that, which is applicable in literally anything that you do in life, then definitely check that book out, Practice Perfect, and learn more about it. So yeah.
That kind of reminds me of that book. I think it's Talent is Overrated.
Okay.
It's debunking the idea that everyone has a special talent and all you really need to do is about, I think, was it 10,000 hours worth of
Right.
practice on something?
He does mention that.
Yeah.
10,000, but he says something
Oh, the
interesting.
10,000
yeah.
hour rule.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, but 10,000 hours, but what's more valuable than 10,000 hours of like practice?
Mhm.
100 hours of proper practice.
So I wonder what's going to happen after 10,000 hours of podcasting.
We can give a class.
We'll
on
become
it.
gods.
Yeah.
We can give a podcast on
For
how
doing an
podcast.
hour a week, that's going to take us
Yeah.
10. Yeah, that's a long time.
10,000 weeks.
Maybe. Aaron, what are you reading? Oh, nothing? Cool. Okay, let's move on.
So I'm still getting through Naked Statistics
Mm-hmm.
and crushing it. I just started.
Crushing it.
You
Like
didn't-
Gary
I have-
the
Vee.
new one?
I have another book,
The new one.
the new one, the new Gary.
What's the difference?
Yeah, wait, didn't you listen to the... Didn't you
No,
guys
he has a book
I-
Crushing It. He has the
Crush
book
it.
Crush
There's
It,
Crushing it.
and then he wrote a follow-up Crushing It, where he includes more up to date stuff nowadays, which is probably going to go out of date in a year, and also like success stories of people who like who took his Crush It stuff seriously and crushed it, and it's really interesting.
So it's like a
but,
follow-up.
yeah, but I can't help hear his voice every time I read the book.
By the way,
It's kinda
that
funny.
right there is a sign of how successful he is. If
Yeah.
you can read a book of somebody famous and you can hear their voice
Yeah.
while you read it, that means you know that they're doing it right. Like I mean, I feel the same when I read a Tony
Yeah.
Robbins book. I can hear him
His raspy
speaking the book.
voice.
Yeah, I can
When
hear him
he talks
speaking the
like
book.
this.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not.
Listen,
no,
guys.
That's terrible.
No, okay, not so much. Sorry. The point is though, it's because of their charisma, it's because of their influence, and because I mean that's the goal. Be like that. Be that kind of person where people can literally hear your voice
Yep.
while you read it. Either way,
We are.
And I owe you guys a book.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
What book?
you got a second copy for us.
Second copy.
Oh, sweet.
Swizza.
I love Gary Vee. Gary Vee's awesome.
Jeremy's awesome.
He is.
It's therapy.
I think his favorite video that I've seen of him was the F up video.
Which one?
Oh, that one.
Mess up, just
Right.
mess
Just
up.
mess up.
Fuck up.
Yeah.
Someone had to
Exactly.
say it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be the one to say it. Okay, you can
Gary Vee said it.
draw and quarter me later.
Just amazing.
Let's move on to social media questions.
Do we have any?
Yes, we do. We do.
Okay.
And I got in a lot of trouble because we missed one last week.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Who did we miss?
Azaria.
Yeah.
He has been listening to us since the beginning. So you best be respected.
Best.
I got it here. It's right here.
Ask.
All right.
At Pride of Spighton asks.
How many Twitters does he have?
No, it's one. It's just Azaria is the name. At Pride of Spighton is the handle.
Okay.
At Jerusalem Hub. Hey JHUB.
What's up?
You didn't answer my question last week, so my question is how do you win back clients that you have offended or have become disenchanted with your last business? Thanks.
Interesting.
That's an amazing question.
Wait, so you can break that up into two ways, into two questions. One is, how do you get back clients that you've lost? Or another way is how to appease clients that are pissed. And those are two separate questions, but on the same subject. So I think we should address both of those.
Send them flowers.
Yeah, that always helps. Flowers and
I mean, it
brownies.
really depends on how the relationship got got hurt.
Yeah, but definitely if you want to learn more about that in general, like
Yeah.
appeasing people and learning how to go about dealing with conflict, read How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Good book. I read that.
Amazing book. And one of the things
Yeah.
he talks about, if you guys read it more recently than I did, so just correct me if I'm wrong,
You're
is
wrong.
there you go. But basically, right there, that's one of the things he says not to do. Don't tell people that they're wrong. And he says kind of address the concern, but not from the perspective of blame, but more from the perspective of, hey, let's deal with it.
Yeah.
Taking charge of it as like we talk about being solution oriented a lot. So that's involved in that. Getting a client back that you lost. I mean,
Well,
really
how did you
depends.
lose it?
Yeah, it really depends. What did you do? Did you shoot him in the foot? If that's the case, you're kind of screwed.
Maybe someone else took them.
Right.
That's why it's like the preemptive strike for losing a client is constant follow-up. Even if you're not working with them at the point, send them an email once a
Wow.
week.
Okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like what I spoke about last week when I was talking about what I learned from my personal MBA.
Yeah.
You were talking about Netflix, and if you unsubscribe from Netflix,
Yeah.
Netflix still sends you follow-up emails.
Yeah.
You can unsubscribe from those emails, but until you unsubscribe from them, they're still going to send them to you
Yeah.
because they know that their service is the same. Whoever was a customer understands their service and will eventually become a repeat customer. So the
Right.
reality is that if you show the same love to everyone, even the people who your relationships with them have not been
The
that
best.
great, you show the same love that you would show them as if you didn't know them. I think that would be the best way to go about it.
Also,
Yeah.
providing constant value, and if you lose a customer to somebody else, showing them how you can provide even more value.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I may have
Yeah.
read this or heard this from Grant Cardone, where he's saying like if you lose somebody's business, you still stay in touch with them. It's like, that's awesome. I'm glad you went with them. They're a great company. If you need anything, please let us know.
Right, and
Or
they
whatever.
continue to follow up with that.
Yeah, continue to follow up. Say, how are they
Follow up,
treating you?
follow up,
How's
follow
everything
up.
going with them? Is it working? Is there anything that we can provide you that they're not providing you? What, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way you're doing market research based on your competition,
Right.
as well as trying to get your
As well, right.
your former
Because
clients
right.
if they leave them, guess who they're coming back to first?
to you. And
Right.
even if they don't leave them, they could
Yeah.
they could take the due diligence of your following up with them and be like, hey, I'm really happy with these guys, but I have someone that I could refer to you.
Right.
And there's
Mhm.
always business coming from different
Right.
places.
Right, so that's why we've said this a number of times. I know Arm definitely has. Never slam the door,
Never. Ever.
because like we're talking about right now, you never know how that person might come back, or
Yeah.
what other business they can provide to you, or what other value you can provide to
Or
them.
how they may blaspheme you to the public for slamming the door on them.
Yeah.
I mean,
That too.
we've talked to many people that were just very frustrating to us. But I always said, like, don't slam the door, just be kind, who knows what can happen. And good things have come out of something,
Yeah.
or nothing happens from
Right.
it, but at least nothing negative happens.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Right, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
when emotions are involved.
Yeah, don't ever let emotions get involved. It's interesting, you were talking about Grant Cardone, and it reminded me of something else that he was involved in. He mentions this in the 10X rule, that they were following up with a client so much, a potential client, that he actually got pissed off at them, and he called up to complain and say, like, oh, you guys are calling us up way too much, it's terrible, I can't handle it. And then Grant like appeases him, and he says, like, yo man, like, they're doing their job, you can't tell them not to do their job, this is what I'm hiring them to do. Let's try to figure out what we can do for you and move on. That person ended up becoming a client in the end,
Really.
and giving them a review like,
Right,
these
I
guys
remember
are
that.
insane, and these guys follow up like a beast. Like, people are going to hate you at some point for something you're doing, and eventually
But
they're
at the
going
end of
to
the day, yeah.
eventually they're going to praise you for what you're
They're
doing.
going to see the flip side
Yeah.
of it, and they say, well, if they're going to put in all this energy to annoy the hell out of me,
Yeah.
then they're going to put all this energy to help my business grow.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
So
Wow.
be annoying.
Yeah.
That is. I never saw it quite from my perspective. That's really
Yeah.
valuable.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions we have.
Amazing.
We profusely apologize to Azaria, Pride of Spuyten, for
Yeah.
not addressing your question. I hope the answer we gave you was sufficient enough.
Yeah. I don't apologize.
Oh, King,
I didn't see it.
Oh, King, Lord of Spuyten.
Spuyten or Spartan?
Whatever.
Thor's better than you, so.
Either way, thank you for sending in your questions. Please send more. Thank you for listening as well. You have been there from the beginning, and we're very happy to have you as a listener.
Make sure to share it.
We're gonna move on to
Quick shout out
Okay,
to,
never mind.
just real quick,
Wait, to who? Oh,
Yehuda.
Oh, Yehuda.
Yehuda. He tagged us in
Reginald
his stories.
Cumberbatch.
That's it, Reginald Cumberbatch. He tagged us in his stories, and we said if you do the challenge, you will get a shout out. So thank you.
Thank you, Yehuda. Reginald Cumberbatch.
Now get out of here, Benedict.
No. Keep on going. Benedict.
Let's move on to
Alright.
our motivational section before we sound off here.
That was motivational, wasn't that?
Most of this was
Everything
motivational,
was.
but like
this
I
is-
want to leave you with something.
Let's do it.
I used to do. Remember when we used to do jujitsu with my uncle?
Yeah.
He said at the very least, I want you to leave the class with something that you can use practically. So we got to leave you with something. So I found 2 quotes that I liked.
Okay.
One is it's not that you get. It's not. Okay, I'm totally messing it up. I'm just gonna pull it up from here.
I'm not cutting that out.
It's not whether you get knocked down. It's whether you get up. Vince Lombardi. What does that mean to you?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, never mind.
Oh no, it's not.
No, but
Can
it's
you
amazing.
elaborate on it?
Yeah. So there's another quote I said that.
This one speaks to me.
Sure. There's another quote that I have on my phone.
No one
You're,
cares
ans-
about
very
you're answering
similar.
a quote with a quote. So
do
No,
Jewish.
hold on. No.
I want to hear how this quote speaks to you
Sure.
personally. I just laid it out for you.
Sure.
What does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, what it comes down to is when it comes to your journey and whatever you're up to, in life there are breakdowns. That's the way it is. Are you gonna stay down? Or are you gonna get back up and try again? I mean, for me, I love snowboarding and I progressed a lot over the years doing it, and I feel like I wouldn't have been able, no, not feel like, I know I wouldn't have been able to get to the level that I got to if I didn't fall down. Meaning, if you look at being knocked down as part of the process, not as a problem, but part of the process, that changes the whole perspective of it. So, yeah.
This is interesting. It reminds me of a story back, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. I knew this guy who he was in a car accident with his wife and infant. He was knocked unconscious from the accident. His wife and infant didn't make it, and he was out cold. I think in an induced coma through the burial of his wife and child. I know this is a little depressing, but
Hella depressing.
yeah, I'm sorry for like the what is it called, the something Nancy, whatever.
Negative
So-
Nancy.
Negative Nancy. Anyway, the interesting thing is that he spoke later on, and he was saying that when he was lying in bed, he had 2 choices. I can either lie here and just mope around for the rest of my life, or I could go out there and just be who I was supposed to be, which is an incredible thing to think about when you're laying in bed after you hear that news. Insane. Like, you have to have a lot of mental strength.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he got up, he made himself, he got remarried, he has kids now.
Wow.
So what that means is
Then.
it's how you get up. It really is how you get up. It's how you take yourself out of those really deep, dark situations and you build something crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why this one stuck out to me is because this one speaks to me a lot. I'm always constantly, I'm an ambitious person. I'm always constantly trying to strive for more, trying to work better, trying to do better, and all that stuff. And I'm always surrounded by people that are just going to be like, well, you know it's not going to work out, right? And this and that and the other. And it gets to you. And the reason why I like this, it's such a simple quote. Like, even I could say it. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. It's that after all of that, after all of that adversity, and sometimes it's going to bring you down. But, like, if you get up and you come with resurgence, you know what, screw that guy. I don't care what he has to say.
Yeah.
He's just saying that because he's jealous that I have the wherewithal and the abilities to achieve that area. I'm cracking again. I did that last time.
There's that word again. I think I'm gonna make a cut of every time you said wherewithal in a video. Okay.
You may get knocked down. So basically, then you may get knocked down. You may get slowed down.
Yeah.
But just don't stop.
But let's be honest. I mean, whoever you look up to, it happened again. Whoever you look up to, like celebrity, athlete, whomever, you don't think they went through that stage where people are like, dude, you're stupid. What are you doing? You're gonna be a comedian? What are you, stupid? You're gonna be this? What are you? You know what I mean? They went through adversity, and just because they made it doesn't mean it wasn't hard for them. It was insanely difficult. I mean, when we talk about work ethics nowadays, like they say that the guys in the entertainment industry that have the strongest work ethic right now is like The Rock and Kevin Hart. They're in every movie. Like every month they're in a different freaking movie.
They're working hard.
Yeah, who cares about the movie? It's the fact that like The Rock, I think he wakes up at 4:30 in the morning every morning. He works out, like he does cardio. He goes to set. He's on a TV show. He's in like a million freaking movies, right? And he also still works out throughout the day. And he's an animal, and like it takes serious dedication.
Yeah.
And you know how many people told him in the beginning, "Yo, you're stupid. What are you doing?" Like his father was a wrestler or something like that, and like he was gonna be a football player, but he's like, "No, I want to do what my father did." And his father's like, "You're gonna be poor," and he's like, "No, I'll show you. I'm gonna do it."
Yeah.
And even his father told him that. You know what I mean? That's what I like about that. Because I'm rambling on, I'm gonna move on to the next one that I like. The next quote that I have is, "If you're working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you." Steve Jobs.
That's interesting. So I think this applies to all of us, definitely. We've all worked on a couple of different businesses in the past. And, you know, you always have that initial high. Forget businesses. Any project you take on, you always have that initial high. Like, oh my God, this is so exciting. But the vision, it gets stale. If it's something that really draws you, if it's something that has energy to it, and this is for sure the fact of Jerusalem Hub, it pulls you along by the chest. It kind of like it calls you to action.
Also,
you don't need
if you don't mind me interjecting, I'm gonna quote what you've been saying a lot. Is you've been saying we've been casting out a wide net.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. When you cast out a wide net, you can kind of say, okay, we're gonna do this, and this, and kind of optimize into this one thing that you do. I'm just saying.
Right. No. Yeah. Right. I hear what you're saying. No.
I got that from you.
Thank you. I appreciate
but so that I thought those two quotes were pretty sick. I mean, what do you think?
They're very good.
What do you think about that last quote?
It resonates very strong with me, especially
I knew it would
like
resonate with you.
What?
I knew
especially
it would
like I've picked up many skills over the past few years working with startups, and even things that I wasn't originally passionate about in the beginning. When I start doing them more and more, like it becomes my passion, and that drives me. And then eventually you find things that you thought were passionate about and those drop out too. But yeah, I think that's one of our driving forces about this business.
Were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, cool. What I find most interesting about that last quote is not that it's entirely connected to what I'm going to say, but the reason why I thought that quote would resonate with you specifically is simply because there was a time like 2 years ago or a year ago where I was just like, okay, what do I do? I'm out of the Army. I'm not finished with my degree. I'm not this, I'm not that. And I'd be talking to you on the phone. I was like, should I go to school? Should I do this? Should I do that? She's like, nah, don't go to school. Screw that. Just do your... Not that... We're not shitting on college. That's for a different episode entirely.
Next episode.
But you were saying like... And I was saying, but I don't have this skill. I don't have that skill. And then I was like, who cares? Learn the skill. Do it. Figure it out. Tell them you have that skill. And learn it as you go.
And it's very applicable to something that we say a lot here at Jerusalem Hub is... You know, especially at this point, we did not get this far to only get this far. We've gone to that point of no return. At this point, in the beginning, you're the one pushing, but as you go down the line, the project builds momentum,
snowballs.
It gets an engine, snowballs, and it starts to drag you along.
Yeah,
so,
I mean that's the part that resonated with me with this quote is the fact that like it's like you don't need a piece of paper to declare whether or not you're an expert. You just have to put in the effort. You have to put. So we take those two quotes, put them together. So I'm just going to say them one more time. We have, it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. So go through adversity, fight the good fight.
Yeah.
Whoever tells you no, whoever downplays whatever you're doing, tell them to F off. And then you go to the next quote is if you're working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. I think those two quotes really connect. Just before we go, we're going to we have a challenge. This is going to be the same challenge because the only person who's doing it is Reginald Cumberbatch. It's hard. It's hard to get out of your comfort zone. We get it. We're giving you chances. Make an Instagram story. Make a Facebook story. Whichever. Tag us in it. We will shout you out.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Way too much. Yeah. But the point is like
I didn't join that one.
It takes time. It took us time to get a podcast going. It took us time to build a company that's actually going to succeed. To build a vision that's actually going to succeed. These things take time. So we're going to stick the challenge to you. It's going to be the same challenge. until we get serious results. We want you to be a part of that challenge.
We're not giving up on you guys just yet.
Just do it.
Awesome. And with that being said, this concludes episode 6 of the Jerusalem Hub audio experience. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shalom Mackless, co-founder of Jerusalem Hub.
Jaron Pecht.
Aaron Memowitz.
And thank you for joining us.
And we'll see you guys next time.